Like, comment, and share.
When his mother received a year-long archaeology assignment in Egypt, 17-year-old Ethan Williams had no idea how much that trip would change his life. His mom, Rebecca Williams, was a renowned archaeologist from Toronto, passionate, fearless, and determined to uncover the secrets buried beneath the sands. Ethan, on the other hand, was simply her charming, easygoing son.
Dragged halfway across the world to a country he'd only ever read about. He expected dust, ruins, and ancient stones, not the whirlwind of emotion that would soon define his year. On his first day at the Cairo International Academy, Ethan became an instant sensation. With his warm skin, sea-grey eyes, and quiet confidence, he stood out. His polite good morning, an accent foreign to their ears, made hearts flutter in the hallway. By lunchtime, he'd been offered tour guides, study buddies, and enough flirtatious smiles to fill a pyramid. But while the popular girls surrounded him and competing for his attention, his gaze always wandered to one person. The girl who sat by the window, her head bent over a book, as though she lived in another world entirely. Her name was Layla Hassan. She wasn't loud or flashy like the others. She had her long black hair tied loosely, and her almond eyes carried both mystery and depth, as if she had seen the world and chosen silence instead of words. She sat by the window in their literature class, always reading ahead, her dark hair tucked behind her ear, her eyes quiet but deep, like the Nile at dusk.
She never joined the gossip or the noise. When Ethan first greeted her, she simply looked up. "You're blocking my sunlight." That was the moment he knew. He spoke to her the next day. She talked to him. "You're new," said softly. "Yeah," he replied. "Is it that obvious?" She smiled faintly. "You look like you still miss the snow." From that day,
something began to bloom between them. Ethan started sitting beside her during breaks, helping her with English literature while she taught him Arabic phrases. They shared stories about their homes. He spoke of frozen lakes and maple syrup. She spoke of desert winds and the smell of jasmine after rain. By the time the school year reached its end, their hearts had grown inseparable. They spent weekends wandering through Cairo's old streets, sharing ice cream near the Khan el-Khalili Bazaar, whispering dreams under the stars along the Nile's edge. One afternoon as they walked along the Nile, she asked, "Why do you keep looking at the water?" Because he said, "It never stays still. It's like you calm on the surface, but full of stories beneath." Layla blushed, and he reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Their hands lingered. Under the soft Cairo sunset, their lips met, shy at first, then certain. It was young love, fragile yet deep, like roots pushing through sand. As months passed, their bond grew stronger. They studied together, laughed together, dreamed together. But as the year drew to a close, the reality they'd ignored loomed ahead. Ethan had to return to Canada. On their final night, standing under the glowing airport lights, Layla's eyes shimmered with tears. "Will you forget me?" she whispered. Ethan shook his head, voice breaking. "Not even if the snow buried me whole. They promised to write, to call, to hold on, but time and distance can wear even the strongest promises thin." The text became shorter, the calls fewer. Seasons changed.
Layla buried herself in her studies. Ethan tried to move forward, but every winter night he found himself staring at the snow, wondering if she ever thought of him beneath the Egyptian stars. Then, 2 years later, in the busy courtyard of the University of Toronto, Ethan sat sketching when a familiar voice drifted behind him. "Still missing the sand, Canadian boy?"
He froze. Slowly he turned, and there she was, Layla, dressed in a long wool coat, snowflakes clinging to her lashes, smiling that same quiet smile. "I got a scholar," she said breathlessly. "The same university. I wanted to surprise you." He stood up, speechless, then laughed. That same warm laugh she'd fallen in love with. Without another word, he pulled her into his arms.
Snow swirled around them like falling petals as they held each other close. "Across deserts and oceans," Layla whispered, "you still found me." Ethan smiled, his breath fogging in the cold air. "Some love stories," he said softly, "don't end. They just wait for the next chapter." And in that moment between snow and memory, they began again.